friends, welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new. My name is Kathy and let's talk about some books. So as you can tell from the title, I am going to be moving to the UK soon. It's going to be for a while, so obviously I have to bring some of my beloved books with me. I know that it's not necessary at all. I mean, like, I can borrow books that I want to, like, I'm definitely not going to re-buy books that I already own there, but even if I wanted to read them, I can borrow them from the library. So it's definitely not necessary for me to bring any books with me at all. But I just want to, okay? I would rather bring fewer items of clothing and other things, but I do want to bring some books. I haven't fully decided on a list just because I haven't actually started packing. I've kind of started thinking about what things I might bring and what things I might not bring, and so I thought this would be a good time to sort of get an idea books wise of what I really want to bring and what I may have to leave behind. So again, by all means, this video isn't like a final list of everything that I'm for sure 100% bringing, but it's a thought process, I guess, so I thought I would share that with you guys. First thing you guys saw me pull was my entire Virginia Woolf collection. So I have 5 books from the Vintage Classics Virginia Woolf editions. These are really nice. They're smaller and they have really nice cover arts and everything. And I think they just look really nice together as a collection. So these, if I were to bring any, I would take all of them. And I figured these ones especially don't take up that much space. So to me, I feel like these are definitely worth it. That's also why I started with these, because these are pretty for sure coming with me. So yeah, I have To the Lighthouse, Mrs. Dalloway, Orlando, The Waves, and Flush. Another reason I'm bringing all of these is the only one I've read is To the Lighthouse. So it's not like I'm bringing a bunch of books that I've read already and that I'm not really going to actually read when I'm there. So I have all these 4 books left to read. And of course, To the Lighthouse, I can always reread. That's definitely not out of the question. Then I have these 2, which are part of the Vintage Red Spine Classics. These are The Common Reader Volume 1 and Volume 2. And these are collections of essays and notes that she has on different books and different authors and her thoughts on studying them and reading them. I thought these would be really great to bring along just because they're not the kind of things that you'll read through super fast. When I was trying to decide for what books to bring, I didn't want to bring a book that was a 400 or a 600 page book that you would read through in a couple of days and then it would just be over. I wanted to bring more books that would be more of a lengthy and spread out experience. So that's why I also decided to bring these. And that way I could say I brought all of my Virginia Woolf with me. So yeah, that's these 2. The next 2 books I'm also pretty sure I'm bringing just because they're also in that format of essays and things that you'll probably spend a long time reading and looking and flipping through and looking back on, not things that you kind of breeze through and it's over. So these are 2 from the Penguin Modern Classics. I have a collection of essays by George Orwell, and Why Read the Classics by Italo Calvino. This is also essentially a collection of essays on, again, on different classics and I guess, and why you should read them, but also in general, like why you should read classics. So that's these two. With George Orwell, I have read 1984 and Animal Farm, but not any of his essays or his other writings. So I thought I would bring this along too. Then we start delving into things I'm not as sure about. I pulled down the collection of sonnets by William Shakespeare. This is part of the Pelican Shakespeare edition. I think this will be really nice as a, I guess, like representative of some poetry that I'm bringing, because I actually, as of right now, I don't actually own a lot of poetry collections. And the other ones that I own, I think I've read recently, like I have The Black Unicorn by Audre Lorde, and that one I read earlier this year. So I might not be going through that one in the near future. But with this, I think I'll be more likely to like go through and actually read, just because I haven't read a lot of his sonnets, like a couple of well-known ones I've read. So I think this will be nice to have, and it can be the first of a growing poetry collection that I might have there. Okay, then I pulled out Invisible Cities by Italo Calvino. This is a collection of, I don't know if they're short stories, but I think they're supposed to be depictions of various cities that Marco Polo conjures up for Kublai Khan. But essentially it's like they all end up being Venice. You know, it's a short book, but I think it'll be, I don't know, I just, because I haven't read it, with books that you haven't read, it's always hard to decide. I'm just a little bit afraid that it's not going to be worth it. But having read Calvino, having read If on a Winter's Night a Traveler, I think I will like it, and the premise is really interesting. And I've always wanted to go to Venice. It kind of has this magical feel and place in my heart. So I do think I'll really like this, and I think I will bring this with me as well. As we go on, it's kind of being less and less likely. I pulled out this, but to be honest, I might not bring it, I think, unless I have like a lot of extra room, because honestly speaking, I don't really think I plan on reading this soon, just because I have read it. So it's a book that I have already read. Here. It's The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, A New History. He's actually coming out, or I think he recently came out with a new book on mammals. It's like The Rise and Reign of Mammals that I have on my reading list, and I really want to read that one too. But with this, I read it not last year, but just the year before that, so it's not a super long time ago. I did really like it. I do like dinosaurs, so that's why I initially picked it up. But he did, like, the writing in the book itself, I think is well done. It's not boring or tedious at all. Yeah. The only reason I would be bringing it is just to like have it to look at. And so I don't think I will end up bringing it, but I wanted to include it just to, I guess, maybe to like make myself feel better. Like if I include it in this video, then I feel better about not actually bringing it. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's that. Moving on, next I have two that if I were to bring, I would probably bring them both, but it would be quite a significant addition to my luggage, I suppose. And that is the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer in the Penguin Deluxe Classics editions. These, I bought these recently. They were in my collective classics haul that you can check out up there. Actually, like, I think a lot of the books that I'm bringing are recent purchases. So with these, like, I know they're long and they're big books, they're heavy. I don't know, we'll see. I think with these, it's like if I end up having the space, I will bring these. But I won't, but I think it's not a must bring, unlike the Virginia Woolf. These are more of a, like, if I have space, I will bring them. And I think these would be worth bringing just because they're, you know, like the Greek myths. And I haven't read these in the full, like, text, in the full verse. So, yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you bring these if you were moving across the world? Alright, and lastly for this one, this is also one that I think is in the same vein where if I have the space in my luggage, I will bring it. And that is Bleak House by Charles Dickens. This is part of the vintage classics. Like, they have a special collection of Charles Dickens where the cover has this really graphic typography that I think is really nice. The reason I wanted to bring this is because this is the only book I have currently in this collection, but I have been thinking about completing it. So I figured that I might buy the rest of the books once I'm there. Just because this is something that I've, like, debated with myself for a while now, because some of the other books in this series I already have in my Penguin English Library collection. So I was like, should I, like, rebuy them in, like, the same book in different editions? Initially I didn't want to, just because I think, like, what's the point, like, of having two copies of the same book? And I think that's also why I spend so long with classics, like, deciding what edition of each book to get, just because I'm like, oh, I can only have it in the one edition, and then so it has to be the right one, or, like, I have to figure out what books I'm gonna buy in what editions. But now I think I have, like, come around a little bit to the idea. I'm not gonna go out and buy, like, 5 copies of a book at once, but I think it's more like if I really like a certain edition, or because I don't mind having multiple, I don't think I mind having them. So why I wanted to bring this was that way I could complete this series and then have those other books, but technically I don't have the other editions with me. Like, the 2 editions aren't in the same place, so it makes me feel a little bit better about it. But yeah, I think the other ones are, like, there's A Tale of Two Cities, A Christmas Carol, I know for sure, and I believe, like, Hard Times and Oliver Twist are all in this series. Yeah, and I have all of those other books already. So that's pretty much it. I think it's fairly okay. Like, I didn't go super over the top. Obviously, I would love to bring all of my books, and especially my Penguin English Library collection. I have, because I have, that's, like, I think that's, like, my most complete, and, like, the collection that I have the most books in. But those books are a little bit more delicate. The covers and the pages are all quite thin, so I just figured that they are just a little bit more fragile, so I didn't want to bring those. And also within those, like, there weren't any titles that I like absolutely felt like I really wanted to bring, that I really wanted to read and think that I would want to reread. So that's why I don't have any books from that series. Yeah, I think I did pretty well. I didn't go super over the top, I think. So to conclude, I'm going to be bringing my Virginia Woolf collection, some essays, a collection of Shakespeare sonnets, and Italo Calvino's Invisible City. So I think this is a relatively acceptable base stack, I would say. It's pretty good. The books that I will bring if there is space in my luggage. So these 3 bigger books. And then this I included in the video, I guess for now. Yeah, the more I think about it now, it's more to just make myself feel a little bit better about not bringing it. Yeah, I really want to, okay? But realistically speaking, I'm not going to end up reading it, so I figured I can't really justify bringing it with me. Yeah, so that concludes the video this week. Let me know what books you would bring with you if you were moving across the world, and let me know if you would bring any of these. And let me know, I guess, like maybe some of your decision-making process, like what would make you absolutely want to bring a book and what would make you decide not to bring a book. I think that's really interesting. Yeah, that's everything for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.